IVM.
Hey, I'm Shifa Maitra and welcome to Smile India, the podcast that gets you news that's true and uplifting from across the country. Yes, that's possible. Let me show you how. Let's begin by telling you about the man with the largest records and gramophone collection in the country. His name is Sunny Matthew and he lives in Kottayam, Kerala. His gramophone museum is also housed in his picturesque cottage, and you can see 260 antique record players here. It's also home to over 1 lakh records in various Indian and foreign languages. He is a retired divisional manager of the Kerala Forest Department and has been collecting these for the last 35 years. He even does minor repairs to get each gramophone in working condition. He has painstakingly nurtured this hobby and now has a gramophone that was made in 1894. He has cabinet-sized as well as pocket-sized pieces in his collection. He has the first record ever made in India, which was in Bengali and made in 1902. This is a legacy that he wants to leave for people with a passion for music. Kottayam, here I come. Now for some delightful information coming from Punjab's Munk district. Here there's a group of women, most of them widows, who wanted to do something to support their family. A Delhi-based activist, Ghazala Khan, stepped in to help them. All of them know how to do pulkari, which is the traditional embroidery of the region. So Ghazala would get them orders, but they needed a place where they could all work from. Ghazala took a chance and asked the local Gurdwara if they could give some space. The Gurdwara not only agreed, but spread the word, and 10 more Gurdwaras in the district opened their doors. So the women work in these homes of worship and are provided free meals as well. During the pandemic, the orders dried up. But an NGO, Building Bridges India, reached out to them and asked them to make masks with fulkari on it. They provided the raw materials and the women got to work. Now the masks are being sold across the world and women are earning a good amount. I'm amazed at how in our country, anyone who makes an effort always finds help at hand. If there's one thing that school and college students in Nagpur missed during the lockdown, it is their dosa auntie. Her little stall near a popular school and college is always packed. That's because she makes and sells yummy dosas and idlis at 10 rupees a plate. She's been doing this for the last 16 years and even now she offers 4 dosas or 4 idlis at this price. Dosa auntie is actually 62-year-old Sharda Chorgare, who has a remarkable story. She had a tough time in her marriage and when she moved back to Nagpur with her child, she knew she had to do something to sustain herself. That's when she used her cooking skills. And seeing the delight on the faces of well-fed children still makes her smile. She knows they have limited pocket money, and so she's not hiked up her rates. She says she has very few needs, so the profit she makes is enough. She loves it when parents come early to have a snack with her before picking up their kids. Some students who are living away from home come because the food and the lady remind them of their mothers. She's really touched when students who left school 10 years ago still come to have her dosas. So next time I'm in Nagpur, I'm heading to dosa aunties for sure. While talking about schools, I have to tell you about this wonderful project in Madhya Pradesh, Sihor district. Across the villages under the Hamara Ghar Hamara Vidyalaya program, students who cannot attend school due to the lockdown can continue to study. In the villages, most students are first-generation learners, so they need to be in touch even with spoken English. Now, via loudspeakers, every day between 11 a.m. and 12 noon, they revise simple English and hear local folk tales in English. During the rest of the day, classes are conducted by ex-students subject-wise. What's wonderful is that for the 11 a.m. class, parents also join in. And since they've never been to school, this is a great way to understand. Children help them and they get better at it themselves. A 70-year-old farmer was shocked when he got to know what sit down meant. He always thought it meant come later and walked out of places. This is such an amazing way of reaching out to everyone. I hope other states can do it too. Now here's something for you to do. A lot of people I've noticed are still unsure about the concept of shopping online. So here are a few advantages. Please shop online and do not venture into stores, at least till the virus is causing mayhem. Shopping online has a host of advantages and I'm just telling you a few. You can shop when you want, no rush of reaching before the store shuts. You can compare the price of an item across retailers and then make a choice. You get discounts when you shop regularly. An advantage that I love is that you avoid crowds and you shop from the comfort of your home. You can exchange or return any item after you get it and get a refund. What's also amazing is the ease of sending gifts to loved ones across the world. Really, it's so much fun. Try it. If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on IVM Network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, it's at Shifa Maitra on Instagram and Twitter. I will see you soon with a new episode of Smile India.
I hope you enjoyed that show. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Intel, for supporting us. Great week on the network. If you haven't been listening, why haven't you been listening? You should be listening. Rohan Joshi was on Uncle Please Sit, discussed the toxicity of the Indian pop culture. Really fun conversation to listen to. Rajiv Samant, the founder of Sula Wines, was on Cyrus Says. Again, I think that was a fun conversation. Also want to call out the season finale of Yuddha. Yuddha is our military history podcast. Definitely do check that out. It's a really great listen. And finally, I want to just remind you all that, it's a dark time, but if you need a smile, go check out the Smile India podcast by Shifa Maitra. It's in both English and Hindi, and I think that you will really enjoy the kinds of things that she's talking about there. And with that, I hope to see you again next week.
Entertainment is like food for the brain. It's a window to culture and a great way to understand the world around us. The internet has changed what it means to be an entertainer, creating new storytellers with millions of fans. It has spawned a new breed, the story-sellers, those behind the scenes creating the business for this ecosystem. They work with brands, platforms and channels who are keen to capitalize on an audience hungrier than ever for more stories. I'm Vineet Kanabar, and I have a ringside view to how stories are told and sold. On my show, I bring you creators, artists, executives and marketers for a freewheeling conversation around the business of entertainment. Tune in to Storytellers and Storysellers for personal stories, analysis and criticism every Thursdays as I talk to the brightest minds telling or selling great stories today.